Okay, so I'm a little annoyed because I cannot find the little thing that goes on top of the mic. So hopefully this sound is okay because I'm not doing this again because I am on the last video in my Rising Sign series. I am on Pisces Rising. So if you are a Pisces Rising, first of all, I'm coming to love Piscean energy. It's a little bit different than Aquarian energy, but I'm learning to love it more and more every day. So if you're a Pisces rising, if you know somebody's a Pisces rising, then of course this video is for you. Now remember, your rising sign essentially is your first impression. How do you present yourself to the world? And kind of also, how do you view the world? So, as a Scorpio rising, I kind of view the world through a scorpionic lens, meaning I don't trust too many people. I feel like everyone's shady, everybody has a secret, somebody's hiding something. And so that's kind of how I view it. So, you as a Pisces rising could view everything through more of like a spiritual aspect. Now, remember, Pisces is a water sign, and water signs are more spiritual, or they are just a more intuitive. They could be emotionally intuitive, just sensitive to energy. So as a Pisces rising, you could be outwardly, out in public, you could be very sensitive to somebody's energy, or they could be very drawn to you because Pisces is the healer of the zodiac. So if you are somebody who's like, why do these people always keep talking to me? Why do they tell me all their problems? Why are they always looking to me to solve their problems? That could be through your, again, Piscean type of energy that you are giving out to the world. It is Neptune ruled. It's also Jupiter ruled. So again, the spirituality aspect of you is seen, it vibrates off of you. That's kind of how you give yourself off to the world. Now, every Pisces rising is not exactly the same because it'll also depend on the degree of your rising sign. And also, do you have planets in the first house? Because that can also affect the energy of how you present yourself. Because the first house is the house of the physical self, you know, your physical appearance, your energy, all of that is seen through the first house. So, because you are a Pisces rising, Aries rules over your second house. Now, Aries energy is it's the first house, the first sign of the zodiac. So Mars ruled. So for you, Aries ruling over your second house, or Mars ruling over your second house of family or wealth, things that you value. You could have, if you have like a neutral Mars, you could have had a very active family growing up, always going somewhere. Because Aries is like the sports sign or the athlete. So again, let's go on a hike, let's go do this, let's go do that. You could have a very active family. Or a negatively aspected Mars could be an indication that you had maybe a father or somebody in your home who was very abusive, could have been alcoholic, could have been the negative side of that Mars energy. Again, more physical, more intense. So again, it just depends on your own personal birth chart. But again, second house, Aries, very active, very energetic. Your third house is ruled by Taurus. So having a third house ruled by Taurus, third house is the house of siblings, the third house is the house of communication. Now, it's different than the second house. So I didn't mention this, but the second house is the house of your speech. So how you, like the way that you talk. So again, Aries, it could be like a very competitive type of energy, or just a more authoritative type of energy. It could also be an indication, and didn't mention this in a second ago, having Aries ruled second house could be an indication that you also had a family that was involved in some kind of like Mars type of job, where it's like either like a police officer or government or something like that, that could be seen through the profession of your family. But again, your third house being ruled by Taurus, so siblings, seen through there. You could have your everyday communication with them could be very esoteric, talking about things like astrology, because Venus also rules over your eighth house of Scorpio, which has to do with things like astrology. So having a Venus ruled third house and eighth house, you could be somebody who communicates all the time about things like astrology or some kind of spirituality. I do know a Pisces rising who I actually did an interview with. If you go back through, I've only done like a couple of interviews with other people, and she is a Pisces rising. So obviously we're talking about astrology, so that is also seen through there. Your fourth house being ruled by Gemini. Gemini, of course, is a communication sign. It's an air sign. It's a Mercury ruled. And so you could be, because the fourth house is the house of family, mother, Your home. You could be somebody who's very communicative at home, or again, communicating about things like astrology or spirituality. You could be very much a chatterbox at home. Now, water risings, I'm a water rising. We could come across in public or outward and out in the world as like very shy or a little bit more timid. But again, a Gemini ruled fourth house means at home you could be again more lively. Gemini is all about fun and, being a little bit childish. And the Pisces rising that I know, they are like that. So again, Gemini ruled fourth house, chatterboxes at home are always talking about things that have to do with spirituality. Your fifth house is Cancer ruled. So fifth house in astrology is the house of Leo, which is things that have to do with like children, romance, casual dating, casual relationships, theater, politics are seen through that. And so having a Cancer ruled fifth house, you could have a mother who was like very involved with you as a child, or because I've seen the Pisces rising that I know is a mother herself, so she's very, loving with her kids, she's very emotionally connected with her kids, but you could also be somebody who is extremely emotional in relationship to where you could have like emotional outbursts or emotions are very, very needed for you. You could be very moody because Cancer energy is very moody in relationship too. Fifth house is also the house of like oh my gosh, it's leaving me right now. The fifth house is the house of you like education. I'm sorry, education. So having Cancer rule the fifth house, your education needs to have like an emotional connection with the things that you're learning, or else you don't want to learn them. Now, of course, that sounds like everybody should be connected to what they want to learn or have some kind of emotional connection. But of course, we learn things all the time without needing to really know them. But you could be somebody, let's say you're in school and like you just tune out completely because I do not care for this subject. I don't care if I have to make good grades in order to pass. Like I'm not connected with it. I'm not going to listen to it. So that can be seen through that fifth house Cancer energy. Wherever the moon is, like it fluctuates that area of life. So again, up and down emotions with that, with all the themes of the fifth house. Your sixth house, the sixth house of your enemies, open enemies, meaning like who's coming for you. The sixth house is the house of debts. The sixth house is the house of diseases. The sixth house is the house of like legalities, court dealings are seen through this sixth house too. So you could be somebody who, because it's Leo energy, it's sun energy, it's also the house of work, your day-to-day routine. So you could be somebody who does not want to work for anybody, but you also don't want to be the boss of anyone either. So being in business for yourself. The person that I know who's a Pisces rising, she is an artist. So music artist, of course, I mean, you can have like a manager and stuff like that, but essentially you could just get online and post videos and sing all day and just make money that way. So Leo ruled sixth house. You could also, and this is very interesting too, because sun is father. You could have had a father who was either like jealous of your mom and jealous in the way of like maybe that he views her as like the better parent or like the one who's raising them right. So that can also be seen through there too. But you could also be yeah, like I said, just very egotistical in that area. A lot of things and learning. You could also accrue debt, like money debt through your father because of your father. That is also seen through there too. And the person that I know, or one of the Pisces risings that I know, they do have like a very not like the most favorable relationship with their dad, so I can kind of see how these things could play out too. Your seventh house, the house that everybody wants to know about your love, about your more serious love, marriage is seen through the seventh house, more committed relationships, the legal bindings between two people are seen through the seventh house. So of course, Virgo ruled seventh house can make your partner very, very communicative, but they're also a very realistic partner. So Pisces lives in la la land, okay? Pisces is out there. Virgo is earth, it's practical. So they can be very like, hey, I know you have these goals and dreams and aspirations, but I need to bring you down to earth. They could be very articulate with how they should parent too, or what they feel like is the better way to parent, because Virgo energy is very critical, very analytical, very perfectionistic. So your partner can be very like, even nitpicky as opposed to Piscean type of energy, which is a little bit more like optimistic. That can also be seen through there too. Libra rules over your eighth house, and eighth house is the house of Scorpio, which is the house of like sudden events, life and death, transformation, actual death. maybe sometimes. But it's also about transformation. Astrology is seen through there, the occult. And so because Libra rules over this house, it's tend to be very favorable because Libra is all about balance. So it's not too extreme. In-laws are also seen through the eighth house. So maybe a really balanced relationship with your in-laws, maybe they really like you. That can also be seen through there too. But again, that Venus energy over the eighth house can again draw you to things of the esoteric world, the spiritual world, the scorpionic type of world, because again, the Venus rules over that house. Your ninth house is ruled by Scorpio. So again, your philosophical beliefs are tied to that scorpionic energy, digging into the truth, that higher knowledge. I'm a Scorpio rising, so Scorpio energy, really caring about that kind of stuff. You could be somebody who's very because it's Mars ruled, Mars rules over Scorpio, so your energy, Mars's energy, your energy goes towards those things of the ninth house. So again, philosophy, higher education, higher learning, foreign culture, foreign travel, those kind of things are all seen through the ninth house. So again, you can either keep those things to yourself, which you probably won't, but scorpionic energy is digging and finding truth. And again, you draw a lot of your energy towards there. Your 10th house, the 10th house is the house of career, public image, reputation. And so you have Sagittarius ruling over that house. So again, Sagittarius energy, I'm a Sag moon, all about the philosophy, all about the higher learning, all about the higher education, going really deep, like what is life, who are we? What is our purpose here? That can also be seen through the ninth house. But your 10th house, because it's career, a lot of people who are in spiritual practices, who are in that esoteric world, tend to be Pisces risings, again, because your career house is ruled by a sign that has to do with these type of things. So that is seen through there. In your 11th house, the house of gains, aspirations, your friends, your social groups, your networks is ruled by Capricorn, which is Saturn energy. So you can be very selective about your friends, who you hang out with. Saturn is very serious, it's very practical. Why are we friends? Is this a business relationship? That more serious, practical energy is seen through Capricorn. So when it comes to your friends or your social networks, that can be seen through there. That energy can be seen through there. Very selective, like, what are we doing here? And your 12th house is also Saturn ruled, but it is Aquarius. So pause for the cause here. Because Saturn rules over your 12th house of foreign land, foreign culture, separation, isolation. It can be because Saturn is also like Aquarius energy, and Aquarius is tied to astrology. You can be again very into spirituality. The 12th house is the house of Pisces, so um, things that you believe in, your morals. It's also the house of isolation. Meditation is seen through there. So having that Saturnian energy over there, again, drawing you towards those things, but also it's the house of more foreign travel overseas, kind of again, the separation, isolation is seen through the 12th house as well. It's the house of the subconscious and dreams. But what I've seen, because Saturn is all about discipline and structure and rules, Aquarius risings can get into trouble when they go overseas. Can either they go over there and they stay over there, or they go over there and it's kind of have a hard time getting back. Now, foreign travels does not always mean, overseas, like Europe or something. It can mean within your own country. It's just foreign from where you were born, foreign from what you're used to. So California to New York, that's two totally different like energies. So just to be aware and be careful of everything that you're doing, that you're not doing drugs in somewhere that where it's illegal or something like that, just to be aware of it. Now, it doesn't mean that this is going to happen, but I'm just saying. And the reason why I bring this up too is because it is believed that Nicki Minaj is an Aquarius rising and she just got in trouble for, I believe, drugs in Amsterdam. I'm just kind of going off the top of my dome, but I believe she is also an Aquarius rising according to, some of the charts that are online. But that makes me think of like people like Brittany Griner who had a hard time coming back. And because she's really tall, I could see her being an air rising because air risings are tall and slim. And then also A$AP Rocky, trying to see if he's maybe an Aquarius rising, having a hard time coming back. trouble overseas. So that's just kind of a theme that I've seen. But overall, general energy of Pisces rising, again, it depends on your degree that your rising sign is in. Do you have other planets in the houses? Certain, aspects can change the energy, the overall theme of these people's lives. But if you like a more in-depth and specific analysis of your birth chart, go ahead and hit me up. Let's talk, let's chat, y'all. I am finally done with this series. I'm so happy. I am moving on. The next video that I'm going to upload is on manifestation, and is it how people say it really is? Okay, y'all. So thank y'all. Visit me on any social media platform. Visit my website. Let's talk, let's chat. I will see y'all very soon. Bye.